in the world if you make her that way.
So you're right.
Let me tell you about my woman.
Tell him, Smokey.
She used to be so sweet.
Yeah.
And now she just mean to me. Hey. Oh, 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 I got a super mad woman who still knocks me off my feet. Well, yes, she does. Oh, hey, I've got a super mad woman, well, who used to really take care of me. Yes, she did. She's a super mad woman now. But that woman, she just can't be beat. Yeah. Now she was my best friend, but we were living in sin. God must have sent that sweet, sweet woman to me. Hey. Now she's a super mad woman. Hey, but she still can't be beat. No, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. That Superman woman, she still means the world to me. Yeah, yeah. Now she's a Superman woman, but she still can't be beat. That super mad woman, she still means the world to me. She's my Superman woman. She still means the world to me. Oh, yes, you do. Oh, if I didn't have you in my life, baby, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh, yeah, yeah. This Superman woman, baby. Come home, baby.
Make her come
hey,
home.
Come on home, baby.
Come home.
Please, 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 please. Bring your sweet self home.
Well.
To me.
It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire across the web. on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talking Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero. It's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening. Whenever you listen, hope you're doing all right. Special shout out to all my listeners on WMML out of Glens Falls, New York. Love being on Glens Falls station, especially WMML. We got some great stuff planned for WMML, so make sure you stick right where you are on the dial, that is, not on the seat. Don't be doing that. But we got some great stuff. I can't even tell you, but stick around. You know I love you guys on WMML. That's for sure. Hey, Porky. Busy show scheduled for you today. Scotty Crouse is going to join us. At least I hope he is. He's going to join us a little bit. Now, my man, normally we do the Blast from the Past on Wednesdays, but my man Alex Papali may not be available to do that. We're gonna play it by ear. He's a little under the weather. Nothing like me under the weather after I, have a couple of too many scotches. No, nothing like that. He's just battling the flu. So we'll know a little bit. Don't forget the show is being brought to you in part by my friends over at Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. If you need a limousine and you're someplace in the United States of America, then you need Cat and her Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. Give her a call, 202-351-7496. That's 202-351-7496. Just make sure you tell her Billy C sent you. And remember, one important thing, Kat's my girl. So, when you start drooling over her and just thinking all those thoughts, just remember, she's my girl, 202-351-7496. And, of course, if you need an attorney, and if you're looking for an attorney for anything, matrimonial issues, real estate issues, maybe a criminal issue, maybe you want to write a will and leave everything to Billy C, then you need to give Campanaro and Tomkevich a call. That's 845-221-4099, 845-221-4099. And, of course, my friends over at the Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls, especially for everyone listening in the WMML area. If you haven't checked out the new place, man, what the hell are you waiting for? This is the place you want to be. Great food, great people, drink specials all the time. And guess what? On Friday nights, for Friday night fights, we're going to be there. That's right. Myself and some other people from the show, or just some other people from the show. Either way, for the whole Friday night fights series, we will be at the Halftime Bar and Grill giving stuff away. Just giving stuff away. And that's what we're going to be doing, like we did last week. And this week we got a pretty good matchup. Tion Kennedy against Christopher Martin, which is going to be a good one, man. So make sure you swing by the Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls. For anybody out of town and you want to make a reservation for dinner, give them a call, 518-792-4869. That's 518-792-4869. And listen, if you're listening and you don't live, like pens all over the place, if you're listening to the show and you want to come up and hang out, get something for nothing, whatever, buy me a drink or two, whatever, then we don't want you to have too much fun and then have to drive home. So if you're going to travel up to the Halftime Bar and Grill and you're from out of town, drop us an email, Billy at talkinboxing, TALKINBOXING.com, and I'll be glad to hook you up with some discounted hotel rooms and stuff like that, so you guys can come on up, have some fun, and not take any chances. So we hope to see everybody there on Friday night. Halftime Bar and Grill. Make sure you tell them and Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service, and of course, Campanaro and Tomkevich, that Billy C sent you. Coming up on today's show, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, of course. Radiosubmit.com sponsored this week's musical guest. I feel like Johnny Carson. You guys know. But anyway, Tweed Funk. And today's song was Super Mad Women. And, or was it Woman? Yeah, no. Super Mad Woman. I guess it's just singular. I don't know, guys. But the bottom line is we feature a new artist every single week prior to our intro. So if you missed it and you're interested, you got to go back and check it out. We usually have it on the podcast. We also have it on the YouTube version of the show, and of course the live version of the show. And speaking of live versions, I tell you what, if you've never participated in the chat room during a live show, I suggest that you check it out, man. Go to BillyCBoxing.com and get into the chat room and chat with us. We have so many feeds. I've lost track of how many different places that pick the show up live, and I know that there's several other chat rooms, and sometimes I'm communicating in all of them, or at least 3 of them, but I try to just focus on the one in Billy C Boxing. So if you want to be part of the show and you want your comments discussed on the air, do that. A lot of news that's in the sport that I want to talk about. And first and foremost, Floyd Mayweather Jr. calling out Manny Pacquiao. Listen, I'm going to get into this a little deeper, but in a little while. But the bottom line is this. I've been very vocal about Floyd Mayweather Jr. and my basically hatred towards him. Not as a fighter, just as a person. Although I got to admit, I've never honestly sat with him and talked with him. For all I know, me and him after a couple of drinks, me drinking, I know he doesn't pollute his body, but I'd certainly love to be hanging out with him at the girly bars he goes to. But, the truth of the matter is if I'm hanging out with him and, I get to know him, maybe I like him, I don't know. I doubt it because of the type of person I think he is. But I got to give credit where credit's due. And in this particular case, I'm on Mayweather's side, man. Yeah, you heard it. If you're listening to the show and you hate me because I hate him, or you hate me just because you don't like me, that's cool, as long as you're still listening to the show. But the truth of the matter is this. I am 100% on Floyd Mayweather's side about this Manny Pacquiao thing. I think it's sickening that they did not force him to go to jail in lieu of the financial impact he could make on the city of Las Vegas for this fight in May, for his fight in May. And I also believe that one of the stipulations was that he was going to fight Manny Pacquiao. Now, this could be, like I've gotten some emails about this, it could be a ploy on Mayweather's part to just, create a paper trail to show that he's literally calling out Pacquiao so that Judge Saragusa doesn't feel she made a mistake by, delaying his time. But, I believe Floyd. I think Floyd wants his fight. I think Floyd wants to fight because he knows he can make that big chunk of money. And, I think he's got a very good chance of winning the fight, probably better than good. And even if he loses the fight, who cares? He's going to make $100 million when all is said and done. We see how he likes to gamble. So he needs the money. He needs the money, poor guy. But I'm going to get into it deep. I think that Mayweather clearly wants to fight. I think Bob Arum is the stumbling block right now. Don't call me Captain Obvious there, but you know what? I think it's time for Manny Pacquiao to take Bob Arum, that 80-year-old decrepit thing, and say, hey, listen, Bob, make the fight with Mayweather. I'm a congressman. I don't know how much longer I'm going to last. Why do I have to fight Miguel Cotto again? Why don't you want me to fight Juan Manuel Marquez a 4th time? Timothy Bradley, Lamont Peterson. Come on, man. My legacy's here. Guys like Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather don't lose any bit of a legacy should they fight each other and lose. if Mayweather fights, now I'll admit, if Mayweather fights Pacquiao and loses, I'm going to be like the happiest guy on the planet. But I don't think I'm going to take anything away from Floyd. I'm not going to say, see, I told you so. I might say, see, I told you so, Manny's a better fighter, which I'm not so sure about right now. But the truth of the matter is I don't think it takes anything away. As a matter of fact, I think a fighter like Mayweather that goes after a guy like Robert Guerrero, who's 2 weight classes below him, technically, even though he walks around bigger than Floyd does, I think that would hurt him more. I think Manny Pacquiao fighting Cotto or Peterson or Bradley or I think that hurts him more when he could have fought Mayweather. Listen, we need to fight now. There's no way to put it on. You know, I do also believe that it's ludicrous, as Mike Tyson would say, that Bob Arum is trying to tell us that the reason why he's holding up the fight is because he wants Manny Pacquiao's cut to heal, which took place in his last fight. I mean, if it's not healed now, he might as well retire. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's ridiculoso. Come on. But anyway, I got a couple of emails or I don't know, messages or whatever from some listeners. The first one I want to give a shout out, and this is to the I guess listening to us on YouTube, watching us on YouTube, is the handle Giving Quality 24. Giving Quality 24 says, and this was a response to my comments about Mayweather and infusing money and everything. He says, well, Mel Gibson didn't infuse any money into California's economy, and there was actual evidence that he beat the crap out of his mother, the mother of his child. He's claiming, this guy, Giving Quality 24, there's no proof that Floyd did anything but pull her hair and take the cell phone, because that's what Floyd said he did. And telling me to stop hating Floyd, that there's no need for me to hate on Floyd. There is proof, man. Floyd admitted that he smacked her and twisted her arm and everything else. So I don't know, Giving Quality 24, you're not giving us too much quality there. But if you've ever listened to the show, you know that I've admitted that I don't care for Floyd Mayweather, the person. Nothing to do with the fighter. The fighter is the most talented, active fighter out there today. He also commented, he was in a commenting mood. He said, it's never been Floyd, Billy C. Pac doesn't want to fight, neither does Arum. Never has. The deception is finally coming to a close. I didn't agree with you with the first one, Giving 24, or Giving Quality 24, but I do agree with you here. I do think it's Bob Arum. I'm not saying it was always Bob Arum, but it's definitely Bob Arum and Manny Pacquiao right now, at least IMO.
If you're in upstate New York and you need a trucking company, then you need Roselli Enterprises. Roselli Enterprises is trucking at its finest. They have it all. Dump trucks, dump trailers, walk-in floors, flatbeds, flowboys, tankers, loaders, and a full line of roll-off containers for any job, big or small. Roselli Enterprises is also the source for all your sand, gravel, and topsoil needs. Visit them on the web at RoselliTrucking.com or call 315-433-5115. That's 315-433-5115 and tell them Billy C sent you.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
We've got a great matchup tonight. Fighting out of the left corner is the #1 ranked contender.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I am the IBO computer. I am programmed to provide only fair and unbiased boxing rankings. This fighter is the number 15 ranked contender.
Fair and unbiased boxing rankings? That's a new concept.
Actually, it is not. The IBO has provided unbiased computerized rankings for many years.
Well, we've still got a great fight tonight, folks. In the left corner is the number 15 ranked contender.
The IBO, the champion of integrity. Learn more at IBOboxing.com.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
As a young boy, all Billy C dreamed about was one day having his own catchphrase.
And we're back. And we're back.
One voice, one dream, one day. Everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C radio show. Check out the website, www.billycboxing.com. We've got a poll question up there, and we got some results of the poll question I got going on there right now. As soon as I can find them, but once again I misplaced my stuff. But the question was, 2011 was a good year for the sport, at least in IMO. I'm all stuck on the IMO stuff, in my opinion. In case you're not a tweeter or a texter. But 2011, I thought was a good year. I asked, the poll question was, how do you think 2012 is going to be? 54.5% of you say it's going to be just as good, same as 2011. 36.4%, now this moved up a little bit, is saying it's going to be better than 2011. I'm surprised. Not one person has voted and said that 2012 is going to be worse than 2011, but 9.1% of you said it's going to just be an overall bad year for the sport. So I guess we may throw in the towel with that, put up a new poll question today. Hey, if you ever have a suggestion about a poll question, for a poll question, I should say, feel free to email it to me. Keep the mailbags coming, the goes and the don't goes and all that stuff. We're interested in that. And don't forget about checking out the Billy C Book Club. We got some new books, including the Billy Miskey book that Clay Moyle has just put out. That's up there, so make sure you check that one out. We're excited about that coming out. And I guess as soon as the Jersey Joe Walcott book is available, we're going to have that up in there too. We got Scotty Crouse coming on in a few minutes and talking about Mayweather and the fact that Manny Pacquiao, at least in my opinion, seems that he's the guy that's ducking Floyd right now. They need to make the fight. But anyway, I got a couple of more mailbags I wanted to read real quick. Another one. Now, I keep calling this guy's handle. It's actually Trojan a Buzzer. Trojan a Buzzer. B-U-S-E-R. A boozer, whatever. But the way it's written, it just looks like Trojan Buster, man. So that's what I'm going to call him, the Trojan Buster. And he made a comment about the show. He says, and he was asking me what my thoughts were about Steve Martinez. He says, I thought that Martinez won the fight, but he can also see how he gave it to Dennis Doolin. He said at the end of a few rounds, he felt that Doolin landed some hard, clean shots, and it could have swayed the judges in those close rounds. He thought that, a lot of those last second, 10 to 15 seconds, took the closer rounds. The thing is that, listen, I just want to say this to my man, the Trojan Buster. You know what? I tell my fighters all the time. I work with fighters, and I tell them all the time. Listen, if you're going into somebody's backyard, and I'm not saying Dennis Doolin was the backyard kid going into, he was the hometown kid because he wasn't the original opponent for Steve Martinez. But all I know is this: when you're in a fight, and you're finding yourself responding to what's coming at you. Fighters have a tendency to do just that. A fighter throws a punch, they throw a punch back. A fighter, his opponent throws a 1-2 combination, they throw a 1-2 combination back. All right, it's kind of like an innate thing when you're a boxer, and I know he trains and everything else, so he knows what I'm talking about. It's almost like, okay, you're going to give me that, I'm going to give you this back. But in a fight, and on the scorecard, and I tell fighters all the time, you can't do that. If a fighter throws a 1-2 at you, you throw back a 4-punch combination. You know, if a fighter throws a jab at you, you throw a triple jab back at him. You know, the way of winning a fight, especially a close fight, is to throw more punches. I mean, it sounds simple, and it sounds so simple that anybody does it, but when you're in the ring and when you're fighting, a lot of that simplicity goes out, and it becomes just you against your opponent. And I think that if Steve Martinez threw a little more punches, he would have won the fight. He would have won the fight. It was that close, and you know what? When push comes to shove, my man Trojan Buster, Steve has to look in the mirror and blame himself for not throwing enough punches. You know, and I'm glad that you're saying that he didn't get robbed, because it was a close fight. It could have gone either way. We could have been sitting here saying, you know what, Steve Martinez squeaked out a fight, and the mama's boy could be crying that he got robbed. One last email I wanted to get to, and like I say, I promise, if you write a comment, these ones that are posted up under YouTube, I read them because they're public. If you email me personally, Billy@talkingboxing.com, I will read them if you want me to. If you wanted a personal, like many of you email me and we communicate on a regular basis, and it's just between us, that's fine. I won't even discuss it on the show. But these that are published, published on publicly, I read them, whether they're good or bad. Mr. Woodify, Mr. Trojan Buster. Come on, where's everybody's mind here on YouTube? But, he's just responding. I was saying about the prize fighter and how great it is and everything else. Well, Mr. Woodify told me he's got ringside seats for the prize fighter coming up in February. Great deal, man. I'm jealous. He should have gotten me a seat, too. But and speaking about good seats that are coming up and good shows and everything else, how about the card that's coming up real close to us here, about an hour south or so from where the studio is at the Times Union Center. It's called the KO at the TU, and Star Boxing's bringing a fight card to the Times Union Center in Albany, New York. I'm pretty excited about this. It's taking place February 4th. It's on a Saturday. The main event is going to be the heavyweight that people are talking about, Joe the Future Hanks, out of Jersey. He's undefeated. I believe he's 18-0. But they're starting to announce the undercard for this. We have a bantamweight fight that's going to be a 10-rounder. Saeed Yuzanov is going to be taking on Jan Barthélemy, which is that's a pretty good matchup. Also in the super middleweight division, Jason Escalera out of Jersey is going to be taking on Marcus Brooks. And like I had mentioned, the main event so far is Joe the Future Hanks against Rafael Pedro from Cuba. And from what I also understand, Kevin Rooney Jr., the son of Kevin Rooney Sr., the trainer for Mike Tyson, he's going to be on that card as well. So I'm looking forward to that. As a matter of fact, we're going to be giving tickets away at the Halftime Bar and Grill. So up in South Glens Falls Friday. So if you want to get a chance at some tickets, make sure you stop by the Halftime Bar and Grill. While you're looking for fights to do, February 11th at the Hershey Center in Mississauga, there's a good one going on. Check that one out. You can still get a VIP table, but you got to hurry, man. Sales at unitedpromotions.ca is where you got to drop an email for information on the VIP tables. That's sales at unitedpromotions.ca. I don't know the pricing. I don't know availability. I don't know how many seats they hold. But just tell them Billy C sent you. If you want to get some tickets, you can still get a ticket discount by going to our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click the fight poster that you see right there. It's called Young Guns, the card, anyway. Anyway, what's going on? We got we got the guys in the chat room. They're talking about. Dave Murphy was ahead with 13-4 going into last weekend. We did submit picks last week, Dave. In case you didn't know it, you submitted picks, man. Last week's picks were submitted. All your guys' picks were. We got Murphy went 1-3. You want to bring it up? Murphy went 1-3, but I think David Allen is tied with me and Rob Roberts and some of the other guys that are in first place right now. That's right, first. But I know it's early. I know. The last weekend of December. Okay. I won't say nothing. Well, Rob Roberts won, man. We just know this. And we're talking about the Billy C Challenge. If you're not involved with that, go ahead, get involved. There's no penalty in starting late. The only thing that we did this year was we made a rule change. Once you join, you only can miss 3 weeks without having a penalty, because we kind of have the feeling that some people got their winning percentage up. It's like me. You know, I went 1-3 this week, and if I didn't pick another fight, my winning percentage would stay where it is. You know, so we want to avoid that. We want to make sure people don't do that. So read the rules. But anyway, Paul Williams. We talked about this like 2 weeks ago, but Paul Williams is going to be taking on Nobuhiro Ishida. It was made official February 18th. We knew this because we heard them talk about it on the broadcast, but some of the other news outlets are just getting it out now. So I'll figure that one out. And another bit of news that's kind of old that we already talked about, literally a long time ago. As a matter of fact, right after the fight, right after Andre Ward beat Carl Froch for the Super 6 Cup and a couple of belts to go with it. It was announced officially that Lucien Bute and Carl Froch are officially negotiating. We know it's more than that. They've already agreed to a handshake deal. They're just working out the money. But it's a home and home. And in case you don't know what that means, they use that in basketball terms and hockey terms and stuff, where you play, or in this case, you're going to fight at your opponent's hometown, and then the next fight is guaranteed at your hometown. So they're signing a 2-fight deal. I like 2-fight deals at this level. I think this is a good thing. This could be the start of something. Now, I know that when this was first announced, a lot of people were like, I don't like it. I do, man. I think a home and home is a great idea for boxing because it eliminates the BS of judges. And you know what it also does? You know, you have a fighter win both of these fights. I mean, it's pretty much a slam dunk that they don't need to fight a third or fourth or fifth or ninth time. I mean, geez. You know, but Lucien Bute, Carl Froch, it looks like the first one is going to be April 14th in Montreal, and then the second one in England, in Nottingham, on August 4th. So I'm looking forward to this. To tell you the truth, I'm looking forward to this. But anyway, you know what? We got my man Scotty Crouse lining up to come on here in a second, and I'm going to take a break. One thing I wanted to make an announcement before we go to break is it was made official, even though it's already scheduled and even though we already know and blah, blah, blah. But Jürgen Brähmer, he's scheduled to fight again. It's going to be taking place January 28th. They have an opponent, Jose Maria Guerrero is who he's going to be taking on. And the thing is this, as far as Jürgen Brähmer goes, I'm glad he's fighting and everything, but I don't think he's going to fight, and I won't believe he's going to fight until he actually gets in the ring and the bell sounds to start the first round. This guy's backed out of more fights than, well, David Allen's backed out of miniskirts.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdown and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe, on the web and radio. He would scoff at the stretch of that man, I would think.
You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. from upstate New York and the good old US of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. and tell him Billy C sent ya.
Now back to Talking Boxing with Billy C, the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C, damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
Test 1, 2. My fellow Americans, good evening. Welcome back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. It's great to be here discussing the sweet science with everybody. I love boxing. I love talking boxing. That's what I do.
Bill.
Wait, what?
Bill.
Why are you interrupting me? What?
Wrong.
What's the
Wrong.
problem?
Billy C.
I did not have...
We're gonna have to ask you.
What do you mean wrong, Billy C? What's going on here? Fine, I'll go. I just wanted to talk some boxing on TPSradio.net. That's all I wanted to do. I don't need your damn show. I'll get my own talking wrestling with the other Billy C. Yeah, that sounds good. I've always been a Hulkamaniac anyway.
Broadcasting live, brother. Welcome back to Talking Boxing with Billy C on the mighty TPSradio.net, brother. What you gonna do, brother?
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing on Billy C Radio Show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. That's right. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Combat Sports. It's here right now, and it's called Fight Now. You got to call your local television provider and tell them that you want the Fight Now channel added to your lineup. It's that simple. Just pick up the phone and call, and tell them you want the Fight Now channel. And if you want to look for more information about the Fight Now channel, just visit their website, www.fightnow.com. And I want to welcome the Fight Now audience just joining us. We're talking about Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, the fight that should be taking place in May. And for all intent and purposes, I'm actually on Floyd Mayweather's side right now. To me, it seems like Manny Pacquiao is avoiding him. Sounds like Bob Arum is just trying to be a jerk. And, hey, that's a great segue because speaking of jerks, the guy that's joining us right now is my main man, Scotty Crouse. What's up, brother?
Well, Happy New Year, Bill. Thanks. Good morning.
I'm still disgruntled, you know. You got another game going, and I just don't. You know, and what makes it even worse for me is that the Giants are in there, you know, and I can't stand it. I can't stand it. But anyway, a lot of discussion right now. I know that I wanted to talk a little bit about our rankings and our system, and I wanted you to explain one more time how that's going to work. Because I've gotten some emails and we've tried to calm some of the people down about that. But before we get into that, let's talk real quick about this whole Mayweather-Manny Pacquiao situation. You know, I wasn't too thrilled about the reprieve, so to speak, that Floyd got, so he didn't have to go to jail right away, and they threw the money revenue situation, how much money could be made for the city of Las Vegas and all that happy stuff. For the fight, but right now, I mean, you know how much I can't stand Floyd, but I got to be honest with you. This is in Manny's hands right now, and I think Manny needs to man up and say to Bob Arum, I don't care what you do, make the fight with Mayweather. What do you think?
Well, this whole thing is kind of, if it wasn't so frustrating for the boxing fan, it would be amusing because this has gone on now. It's been over 2 years now since the first negotiation took place. And it's been a soap opera all along. The ball's been back and forth in each other's court, and they both have shared the blame for this fight not taking place. You know, right now, I don't know how sincere a Floyd Mayweather tweet is calling Manny Pacquiao out. I mean, that's so far from an actual negotiation that, I mean, fighters call each other out all the time, and then negotiations don't get very far because they make their demands once they start talking and the fight doesn't take place. So who knows what's going on with Floyd Mayweather. I don't trust Floyd one bit. I don't trust Bob Arum one bit. But from a public standpoint, the ball right now at this moment is in Bob Arum and Manny Pacquiao's court, and they need to do something with it. They need to respond. Bob Arum's coming up with all kinds of ridiculous excuses. He looks silly, and whether that's Manny's sentiments or not, it reflects on Manny, and it makes him look silly. It makes him look like a punk, like, he doesn't want the fight. I'm not sure that's the case. I don't know if Floyd wants to fight. I'm not buying all this Twitter nonsense. I mean, have a real negotiation. Bob Arum needs to say, we're willing to fight him. We'll sit down. We'll talk about it, blah, blah, blah. Make the negotiation. And both of these guys come at it sincerely. I don't know if anyone is sincere in this whole saga. So I'm not ready to blame or point fingers at anybody except to say everyone involved is responsible for this fight not having taken place so far. And quite frankly, as big of a boxing fan as you know I am, Bill, you know how much I love boxing, how much I love the sport. I understand how big this fight is. It's starting to wear on me. I'm starting to get tired of it. It's almost at the point where I feel like saying, don't fight. Whatever. You guys are hurting yourselves by not fighting. You're hurting the boxing fans, the sport itself. But if you're not going to fight, then just stop bringing it up. Stop teasing us and tantalizing the boxing fan, and just go your separate ways. Do whatever it is you're going to do. Fight whoever it is you're going to fight. It's almost at the point where I don't care. Make the fight now, or just drop it altogether.
Yeah, I think a lot of people agree with you, and I know some of the guys in the chat room had that sentiment a long time ago, months ago, but before, before the sentencing even came out, and it's just, I thought it was a sin that the money is what kept him out of jail. And the jail sentence is a joke. I mean, if you've read any of his comments and stuff, I mean, he's actually bragging that he's going to jail and, all of this kind of stuff. And it's exactly what I knew what was going to happen with this guy. And, he's not really going to in my opinion. Hey, listen, like Marty Mulcahy said, when you hear the doors close at nighttime or whatever, it's jail. But it's still a county jail. It's not a prison. He's going to be a celebrity in there. He's going to get special treatment, all that happy stuff. But with all that said, and the sickness that they gave him, the reprieve, so to speak, just to make the area money, now's the time to make the fight. And I agree with you 100%. If they don't make it now, Bob Arum says, oh, well, his cut's got to heal. Oh, we'll fight him in November. You know what? So far, 3 years have gone by? What are we going to do? Are we going to wait until both these guys are 38, 39 years old and then fight and then try to sell it to us as a super mega fight? It has to happen now. I think that the road has been paved. If it doesn't happen now, I think I agree with you, man. Forget it, right?
Absolutely. I mean, look, 2 years ago was when the fight was the hottest. Right after Pacquiao defeated Cotto, when that first round of negotiations took place, the whole blood testing thing came up. That was the time when this fight really, I think, was at its peak, and people really were demanding this. They were the two best fighters in the world. They still are, but there's been things since then that, while it hasn't taken away their position, you're starting to see the end. At least that's in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. You saw against Marquez that he's just, you and I have discussed this, it looks like he's not the same fight. It looks like he doesn't fight with the same intensity, the same aggression, the same focus. Maybe his congressional duties are weighing on him, and he's more focused on that. Maybe he's just, look at all the weight classes he's climbed and all that he's done. Maybe it's taken its toll. You only go for so far. I mean, he's not a robot. I mean, he's flesh and blood. It's going to wear down eventually, and we're going to see the downfall or the downslide of Manny Pacquiao. If he fights long enough, we are. Same thing with Floyd Mayweather. We haven't so much seen that in the ring with him yet, but certainly with Pacquiao, his last couple fights haven't been that great. And Mayweather, with him, it's all these issues outside of the ring. Who knows what's going to go on with him in his career. All the time off he takes between fights, it's got to take its toll eventually as well. So these guys, I don't consider any longer at their peak. They're still the two best fighters in the world, but to me, they've fallen a notch from 2 years ago when they could have made this fight. And if they don't make it now, by the time they do, they might not even be the two best fighters in the world. It might be Sergio Martinez and Nonito Donaire. I mean, who knows? I mean, these guys, they need to do this fight. I can't even imagine the pride that must be involved on both sides to not have come to the table and said, look, you know, I know we're supposed to negotiate as equals. We're the two best fighters in the world, there's no doubt. Each of these guys, and I think, Bill, by the way, this is my opinion as to why this fight has never happened. It has nothing to do with blood testing and cuts and jail. And all that stuff is just, to me, that's just smoke. The reason this fight hasn't taken place is because these two are used to coming to the negotiating table as the ones in charge. They call the shots. If Bob Arum, Manny Pacquiao, whoever they fight, they call the shots. Everything goes their way. Same thing with Floyd, because whoever gets in the ring with them is lucky to be chosen as their opponent and make the biggest payday of their career. Against each other, it's different. They're equals. They're both claiming to be the top guy in the sport, and I think it's simply been a case of ego that's kept these guys out of the ring, but it's ridiculous when you think of the amount of money. Don't even think one fight. I mean, I know a lot of people think, based on the Marquez fight, it'll be an easy fight for Mayweather. I don't believe that. I think this is a competitive fight. Whoever ends up winning, I think it's a competitive fight still, and a good fight between the two top fighters. So you got to think more than one fight. I mean, think two fights. And if they each win one, then you're talking a trilogy. The amount of money is mind-boggling that they would be able to make. I cannot fathom that they have their egos are so big they've kept them from that kind of money, and it's just ridiculous. But they do need to get in there and make that fight now, because who knows what's going to happen 6 months from now, a year from now, where these guys are going to be.
No, you're 100% right, and I you know what, you hit it on the head, and I think we all know that about the egos that they both have. But maybe, you know, as you're talking, these two guys, and I don't know if we're going to look at it as giving them credit someday, or wanting to burn them at the stake, so to speak, because the bottom line is they've changed the complexion of the sport, Scott. Because what they've done, because they've been such a draw, and because they were able to go to the negotiating table and call the shots, and that other guy, that opponent, is the one that's making the big payday, and just thankful for getting the opportunity and making that money. You know, now all of a sudden we see promoters, and we've been talking and complaining about this for years, how they maneuver and position their fighters just to get a shot at one of these guys. And, we could talk right now about the two front runners, with Robert Ghost Guerrero. I mean, he's clearly being maneuvered in discussion to fight him, and now Saul Alvarez has risen to the top in terms of being an opponent for Floyd. The fight has to take place. I think there's too much money. The longer they wait, we're not going to see the best fight. And you're right about a possible trilogy. I think there's too much money for these guys to keep walking away. I think that Bob Arum should have learned a valuable lesson with what happened to him with Juanma Lopez, waiting, and now that Yuriorkis Gamboa fight, has to be rekindled. The fire under that one has to be rekindled. And I'm not saying that would happen if should Floyd Mayweather, unexpectedly lose, and Manny Pacquiao unexpectedly lose if they fight different fighters. I still think people would want to see those two get it on, but I think the time is now. I think they have to make this fight for May. And honestly, as much as I don't like the man, Floyd Mayweather, I'm on his side right now. I believe the BS. I believe that he does want this fight at this point in time. And I think that Manny Pacquiao has to step up and tell Bob Arum to make the fight. Bob Arum's he's in the Philippines right now, not even discussing Floyd Mayweather, according to him. He's not even discussing Mayweather. He's discussing 4 other opponents. Oh, you don't say. No. Well, I guess we lost Scotty. But that doesn't surprise me, but we'll try and get him back on. It just has to take place. The fight has to take place. And Scott, I'm going to have to wait a second here to get him back on because we have to make an adjustment with the with the Mickey Mouse phone system we have. I wish somebody would hit the lotto and send us a new phone. But anyway, you know, I wanted to take this opportunity right now to while we're waiting to get Scotty back on. Our Billy C Challenge this week is only going to have 3 fights on it, unfortunately, and one of them is kind of a layup. Arthur Abraham against Pablo Oscar Natilio Farias. Although Farias has a decent-looking record, I don't know how competitive he's going to be with Arthur Abraham. But the other fight that's going to be on the card is Robert Stiglitz against Henry Weber. That's an interesting fight. Stiglitz is an underrated fighter, in my opinion, and he's taking on a young, undefeated fighter. These two very well could be considered layup fights if you want to look at them. But the Tion Kennedy and Christopher Martin fight from Friday night fights is going to be the main one this week, I would think. And we're going to be having those 3 fights on our challenge. So if you're not involved with the challenge yet this year, make sure that you sign up and get your picks in. They will be available now this year. We're trying, because we're forcing people to pick all the fights. We're going to have them. Simon informed me that he's going to have them up by Thursdays. So you're going to have a chance to Thursday England time. So that's really, early in the day on Thursday here in the States. So you'll have a chance to do your research and everything else and make your picks in time. So he might even have them up later today because that's why I'm talking about them right now. So also, I wanted to announce our ballot. The Billy C Boxing Hall of Fame ballot is out. All of the members of the panel have been sent their ballot, and we will be making an announcement on who got in this year. Now we do pick 5 from fighters that are no longer with us, the post nominees, and we also pick 5 of living candidates for the Billy C Boxing Hall of Fame. Now this year, although we're going to have 5 and 5, we also have a special person that's getting in this year, and it's already happened. It wasn't on the ballot because I would have done it last year if things didn't turn out the way they did. But Billy Costello, former world junior welterweight champion, was one of the guys instrumental in forming the Billy C Boxing Hall of Fame. And, I wanted him to be part of the inaugural class, but I preferred to have him there with me instead. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. We lost him last year, and it just wasn't enough time to get him in. So he's definitely going to be in, and he's going to be in this year. So although normally we only pick 5 and 5, this year we are going to have 6 posts, and he's one of them. So the rest of them are all being voted on now. I just felt that it was important to get Billy Costello in, and I didn't want to have any kind of delays or waiting around for him to get in. So he's going to be in, and the rest of them, we got Scotty back, right?
I'm here.
Oh Jesus! The phone system, man, is so sickening to me sometimes. And you know what? It's not even the phone system anymore. It's not the drops that we used to get. It's the communication that it has with I can't hear. I know that was the thing, but I get a message now that says drop device, no device to be sound, no sound device. I'm like, what are you talking about? Anyway, Scott, I'm talking about the Hall of Fame ballot right now, and for BillyCBoxing.com, and you got a chance to look it over, right?
I have not received one.
You have not received one?
No, sir. I was feeling a little left out when you were mentioning it.
You know what? It's your damn Comcast, all right? I'm gonna tell people right now that the Comcast, everybody with a Comcast email address will not get emails from us, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why, but I will send it to you from the other one. But yeah, we got to resolve this issue because, you're the only one with Comcast.
Well, I'll set up another account. I'll go ahead and work on that and set up another account.
It's just, you replied to me, though. You replied to me, you replied to me about something else, and it was from that same email.
I don't recall. I'll have to check, though. I mean, I don't remember what, we were talking about 15 minutes ago, much less, your email. So I'll have to go back and look, and I'll check. But I don't recall seeing anything.
You don't memorize my emails? What a bastard.
I was glad to see that you're relented. You're going to be at the International Boxing Hall of Fame an extra night now. I had to coax you with alcohol, but, glad to see you're going to grace us with your presence for 2 nights instead of just 1.
Well, I said I booked 2 nights. I don't know. I get very frustrated there, but I'm going to go up Friday and probably Saturday night. I'll be staying, so I'll be looking forward to that. I'm hoping actually that Fight Now does something, and maybe we'll be up there for the whole week, and doing some stuff for Fight Now. So as a matter of fact, I gotta get a hold of them about that. But we've had some discussion in the light heavyweight division of the Billy C rankings, and I wanted to bring it up to you because you're the man. And, I want to reiterate my thoughts because I think that you and I share the same opinions. But I've had a lot of discussion about this, and people are pulling me in opposite directions. They feel strongly. The people that feel one way feel strongly about it, but the people that feel the other way feel just as strongly about it. And rather than beat around the bush, I'll tell you right what it is. It's in the light heavyweight division. And currently we have Chad Dawson at number 1, Bernard Hopkins at number 2. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Bernard Hopkins shouldn't even be on the list. I mean, I can't stand the guy, But we base the rankings on, when push comes to shove, we base the rankings on the guy who beat the guy. I mean, that's pretty much the way it unfolds. It's not so much our opinions of what should be. A fighter that, this guy displays great talent, but you know what? When he fights, he doesn't really fight that well, but still, we know he's a better fighter, so we're going to put him at a higher ranking. I don't think that the ranking should be like that. At least that's my opinion. I think that if the two fighters haven't fought each other, and then you're evaluating, their performances or whatever against like opposition, or even if they did fight each other years earlier, maybe that doesn't come into play if Fighter A beat Fighter B, and it was 7-8 years ago, and Fighter B now is much better. Fighter A doesn't automatically get the nod to be above him. With all of that said, and all of this, smokescreen here, we had many people that feel that Bernard Hopkins should be number 1, based on the fact that, he's won. His fights against Jean Pascal and Chad Dawson did not. Many people believe Chad Dawson should be number 1 because Chad Dawson would have beaten Bernard Hopkins, and if they fight again, he will. What's your thoughts, man? I mean, I see a lot of. I kind of got as much as I hate to say it, I kind of got to back the Bernard Hopkins at number 1.
Well, first of all, let me remind everyone that the rankings are based upon a panel of individuals that submit their opinions, their rankings, and we compile them, and based upon what the group says, that's how the rankings are determined. I assign a number to each ranking. If someone sends their rankings in and they have Dawson at number 1, then he gets 10 points. Bernard Hopkins 2, he gets 9. Pascal would get 8, and so forth. And everyone who does that, I add up the total, and I try to make it objective in that sense that whoever has the most votes for number 1 gets to be number 1, and so forth, and then on down the line. That makes it the most objective. It also counts everyone's submission. And I think that's the most fair way to go about it. The only time I might throw in my opinion would be if there's a tie. I might try to break the tie based upon what I think. But other than that, this is how they have fallen based upon what the panel decided after the Dawson-Hopkins, fight fiasco, whatever you want to call it. Now, remember, at the time, it was ruled a Dawson TKO win. Regardless of what you thought about how terrible the fight was, whether you thought Dawson fouled him, whether you thought Hopkins was faking, whatever your opinion of the fight, the ruling was a Dawson TKO victory by the referee. So I think most of us took that into consideration and did the rankings according to that. And if that's the case, then Dawson has to be ranked above. You can't put Hopkins above Dawson when Dawson just won with the TKO victory in the second round, regardless of how it came about. At the time that the rankings were done last, I don't think the ruling had come down that it was changed to a no contest. So, and it took forever for that ruling. I mean, it's not like it's the most difficult thing in the world, but for some reason it took them a long time to decide. And since then, the decision has been a no contest. So when we send out the next issue of the rankings, which should be soon, hasn't been a whole lot going on, so it hasn't been something that we've made a point of doing. Hasn't been a whole lot of fights, a whole lot of changes in the rankings over the holidays. But the next time the next edition of the rankings, that's one thing that we will address. Now that the ruling has been changed, does that change the status of Dawson and Hopkins?
But when do we look into the situation? Like in other words, like how do you eat? And that was one of my arguments with one of the people that were pulling for Chad. I go, how do you take a fight that didn't even go 6 minutes? There was virtually no action in it, and we saw what we saw. How do you take that fight into consideration on either side? On either side.
Because the referee ruled a TKO for Chad Dawson. That was the official ruling. And we know that there were strange circumstances in that fight. But at the same time, the whole Bernard Hopkins lying on the canvas, acting thing, it's gotten old. And I don't know if he was legitimately hurt or not. I have really no idea. But he's done that so many times. The referee claimed that it was a TKO. So because that's what the referee claimed and because it was controversial, I thought it should have been a no contest the night it happened. A lot of people did. But I took the fact that the referee ruled it a TKO victory for Chad Dawson, and I do think Chad Dawson would have gone on to beat him that night too, and I think he'll beat him in a rematch. That's just my opinion. But in terms of objectively, the ruling was a TKO victory for Dawson. So I took what the referee had decided, his verdict, his decision, and that's why in my own rankings, I would have Dawson at that time ranked above Hopkins. Now that it's been changed, it's a no contest. It's not a TKO victory for Dawson. It's not a loss for Hopkins. We might have to alter that.
Yeah, no, you know what? Those two fighters, and like I say about Chad Dawson, he's not exactly an exciting fighter either. I don't think. I don't think.
No, not at all. And quite frankly, I don't really hope that Dawson Hopkins ever happens. That's a bad fight all the way around.
You got a couple of more minutes to hang around?
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna take a short break. I'm gonna read you, and I'm gonna get them to you. I'll send them to the from the other. It's only the one. The thing is, though, Scott, you might be blocking. You might have a block set up for the one email because you don't get the. You and I respond. Now that I'm thinking of it, we respond from the one account, but not the other. You may have to. It might be in your junk mail or something. Maybe your settings are like that. But stick around. I'll go over the ballot with you real quick, just so you can get it in your head, and we'll resend it to you a little later. But hold on. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C now has official merchandise available on TalkinBoxing.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and mugs. And yes, even undergarments. Talkin' Boxing apparel is the perfect gift for the boxing fan in your life. Log on to www.talkinboxing.com That's TALKINBOXING.com. And place your order today.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out there. Rocky Marciano was good. But compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't.
Hit Joe Louis's ass.
Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought. Huh?
What?
We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
As Billy C sits here in the multi-million-dollar Talkin' Boxing Studios, sipping a fine wine before you're even out of bed, you should be thinking, damn, I wish I had a mustache like his. It's the Talkin' Boxing with Billy C show. He's Billy C, and you're not. Sucks to be you.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C radio show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. You need to call your local television provider right now and tell them that you want the Fight Now channel added to your lineup. It's that simple. Check out their website, www.fightnow.com. Every night is Fight Night on fightnow.com. So check that website out for the latest listing, www.fightnow.com. Speaking of now, joining me, I think we still got him. You still on the line?
I'm here.
Well, imagine that. Scotty Crouse is with us. Hey, we're getting a lot of suggestions for you with Comcast in the chat room. Most people all agree that Comcast sucks, and that
you're not going to get any argument from me.
And you know what they say? No, but they're all pretty consistent. Aside from saying that Comcast sucks, they're saying that the bottom line is check your spam. Now, I don't have Comcast because they suck, but I just wanted to make sure that you check your spam. They're saying check your spam folder because Comcast, what sucks, has their spam filters set really crazy, and a lot of people have some trouble. So go in there and check that out, and I'll bet you'll find all my emails, all the nice ones too. You know, you only hear me say negative stuff, but I always send you nice ones, Scott. They're all in your spam folder because Comcast sucks. But anyway, you still there?
I'm still here. I'm just thinking. I guess Comcast isn't sponsoring your show.
Yeah, no. I guess I better. Well, at least they never got the email. I keep sending them an email and making them an offer to sponsor the show, and no wonder why they're not getting back to me. But just to give you a heads up and give all the listeners and viewers an idea of who's on our ballot. As a matter of fact, we're going to send a press release out to put the names of the winners. Now, just as a rule for everybody, the people that are on these ballots will stay on the ballot for 3 years. And if they don't get elected, they're gone. Now, that doesn't mean they're gone forever. If somebody suggests, if one of the panel members suggests to put them back on, we certainly will. We also have female fighters eligible for our Hall of Fame, but this year we have 2 on there. So I tell you, every year we're going to put out 10 post nominees that are on there, and 20 nominees that are living. Former greats in the sport of boxing. We pick 5 from each category. This year's post, Henry Armstrong, Jack Johnson, Harry Greb, Joe Louis, Jersey Joe Walcott, Willie Pep, Billy Conn, Charlie Burley, Joe Frazier, Billy Miskey, Kid Williams, and Stanley Ketchel, which isn't a bad list of guys, right?
That's a pretty good list.
Yeah, the living guys are Tony the Tiger Lopez, Tony DeMarco, Billy Backus, Johnny Tapia, Bobby Ches, John the Beast Mugabe, Alex Ramos, Mike Weaver, Timmy Witherspoon, Tracy Patterson, Juan Laporte, Iran Barkley, Virgil Hill, Carlos De Leon, Ann Wolfe, Sue Fox, Buddy McGirt, Joey Gamache, Daniel Zaragoza, and Terrible Terry Norris. So I think we got a pretty well-rounded list of nominees. What do you think?
Yeah, that's nice. I'm thinking already. I mean, picking 5 from that list is going to be tough.
It's tough. It's tough. I already got some of the other, members of the panel that actually, communicate with me and did their thing. Not like you, who has Comcast. That sucks. But they're all saying the same thing. It's pretty hard. It's hard to do it, and we're trying to, listen, man. I mean, we could easily just go with the layup guys and everything else, but I'm trying to make it a little interesting, and all of these guys are deserving, and it's interesting to see who's picking who, and I'll have the listing. We'll be announcing it by the end of this month, so I'm pretty excited about it this year, to tell you the truth, Scott.
Yeah, I think that's a great list. I mean, I'd want to possibly vote for Ann Wolfe, but I'm kind of scared of her showing up and meeting her in person. And she scares me, Bill.
I tell you, I don't think she gets the credit that she deserves, and I don't know if it's one of these things, and I had asked Amy Green about this. I always use Kevin Rooney as an example. He's a guy that, and Mike Tyson, you could use them both. They both were great with each other, but without each other, neither one of them had much success in the ring, and I'm wondering if Ann Wolfe is similar. When it comes to training, not fighting. I agree with you. I wouldn't put on a pair of gloves against her, no way. But when it comes to training, whether she has no interest in other men in terms of training, other than James Kirkland, I mean, really, he's the only one, right?
Well, I think, yeah, the only one that I'm aware of, and I think she's a good trainer. I think she's a very, very good trainer, but I think there are several factors. I think it has to be with the right fighter, because not every fighter is going to punish themselves and enjoy it the way Kirkland seems to. He responds to that kind of a training camp, a military boot camp kind of a thing, where someone's screaming at you and someone's saying, "Oh, you're hurt? Well, we only got 3 more hours to go. Then you're really going to hurt." And then your training's half done for the day. Kind of thing. He gets into that. That seems to motivate him. He responds to that. Not everybody would. And I would imagine, it's not, spoken, but I would imagine there's a lot of fighters who would say, I'm not, letting a woman, train me, kind of thing. So I think she's got some strikes against her that might keep her from having other fighters and developing other fighters. But I think she is a very good trainer, and I think certainly James Kirkland is proof of that. The Mike Tyson thing, I think, is true and a good comparison. But I think Mike Tyson had a lot to do. When he left Kevin Rooney, I think he still had the talent. He still had the fundamentals ingrained in him. He abandoned them for a lot of different reasons. I think he still went on to have some success. I mean, let's not act like he was a bum. He still had success, but I just think that he was at his best under Kevin Rooney. But there was more than Kevin Rooney that helped create that. Jim Jacobs, Bill Caton, a couple other guys, their names are escaping me at the moment. But for Kirkland, obviously, he needs Ann Wolfe, and Ann Wolfe is someone who is you got to respect her credentials as a fighter, and now as a trainer. I think I don't know if you saw. In fact, we didn't talk about when we did the year-end awards. We didn't talk about Trainer of the Year, but I did post them on the Talking Boxing Facebook page, and Trainer of the Year to me was Ann Wolfe.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's like in other sports. The MVP. People were always critical of Peyton Manning winning the MVP, but this year I think he showed
absolutely, Bill. And I think that's such a great point. I posted that same exact point. I think on Twitter when it was being discussed that Ann Wolfe is the Peyton Manning of boxing. I mean, it's clear. Without her, look what happened to James Kirkland. You look at Ishida. That was my upset of the year too, by the way, because to me, that there's just no thought at all of Kirkland losing that fight. It was how quickly is he going to dispose of Ishida, a guy that didn't really have any big wins. He had no power, and look what he did. And then he goes back to Ann Wolfe, and then he conquers Angulo in a very, very exciting fight. So it's like Peyton Manning. With him, they're in the playoffs every year. Without him, they barely win 1 or 2 games. So I think that's an excellent comparison.
Yeah, with the same supporting cast.
Right.
You take one guy out of the mix, and the team wins 2 games for the year. The previous years they're in the playoffs. Playoffs. But anyway, we were talking about the fight, and you brought up an interesting point about Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, and the possibility of having a second or even third fight. Which brings me to something that we actually talked about a while ago. It was announced immediately after. As a matter of fact, they were talking about it at the post-fight press conference for the Andre Ward-Carl Froch fight, that Lucien Bute and Carl Froch have signed a home-and-home deal. And now it's back in the press, and that they haven't finalized it yet, but it's pretty damn close. They have dates and everything else. I started thinking about that concept, Scott, and I love it. I think it's a great concept for the sport of boxing. And to be honest with you, one fighter doesn't have to win one and the other one doesn't have to win the other. It could clearly be the same fighter winning 2 and then basically saying, listen, I beat you 2 times in a row, 1 time in your backyard, one time in my backyard. We don't need to fight a trilogy. You know what I'm saying? What do you think of this home-and-home thing?
Well, first of all, I think the whole fact that Bute is fighting Froch is ass backwards, because obviously Ward-Bute is the fight that should be happening, and it gets kind of irksome. You and I always talk about the fights that should be happening rather than the fights that are. Froch-Bute is a good fight, but Ward's the guy that should be fighting Bute for 168-pound supremacy. That's what should be happening. The winner of the Super 6 should fight Lucien Bute to determine who is the best super middleweight in the world. All right, it's not happening, so we get Carl Froch. It's not a bad fight. The whole home-and-home thing, I have kind of conflicting thoughts. Bill, I like it when boxing sort of steps out of the box a little bit, and
that is, isn't it?
It is, and doesn't always do the same old thing. I think in all sports, you got to think outside of the box at times, and boxing is the worst in terms of doing that. You just stick to the same old things that they rarely are willing to try something new and creative. And I like it when boxing does that, and this is creative. So I like it from that standpoint. I think that's good. I also like it from the standpoint that Carl Froch, to me, deserves something like this. This is a huge fight. Obviously, you're going to put the fight in Canada, but to have a home and home where Froch gets one in England as well, gets a home fight, I think he's deserving of a home fight. Here's a guy that had one home fight the entire Super 6. This guy traveled everywhere. He traveled around the world for this tournament. And as much, Andre Ward may be my favorite fighter right now. I love Andre Ward. I think he's tremendous. And all respect goes to him, props for what he did in the Super 6. But the guy didn't have to travel. He had all home fights. The final was still in the United States, even though it was on the East Coast. It was still in his home country. But Froch had to travel everywhere. And I think that certainly benefited. I'm not saying it would have changed the outcome of the Super 6, but I think it certainly benefited Ward. So I'm glad to see that Froch gets a home fight. I think that's good. That's great for the English fans and the best fans in the world. I think that's great for Carl Froch. I think he deserves it. So I like that as well. The only thing about it that I don't like is it's essentially a rematch clause. It's essentially you're guaranteed a second fight. And typically I don't like those, because what if the first fight stinks? And what if the first fight is a horrible fight? Or what if it's a blowout? What if Lucien Bute just blows out Froch, or vice versa? Then do we really want to see a second fight? We're kind of forced to see a second fight at that point. And I don't think this will happen with Carl Froch because of the way he's wired. I really don't. But when you have a 2-fight deal, kind of like the Devin Alexander-Tim Bradley thing, where Alexander knew he's got another fight on HBO. So the temptation might be there. You don't put in your very best because, hey, I'm guaranteed a return bout, no matter what happens. I'm guaranteed. So if I hurt my hand a little bit, maybe I don't want to finish the fight because, you know what, I'll save it for another day. I'm going to get another fight. I'll get it in my home turf. And, hey, we'll win that night. So
It's like
I don't
open
know that
scoring.
would ever think that way, but I think it allows for that. And so for the most part, I don't like more than just one guaranteed fight. If you guarantee other fights, it's just other things that can come into play.
I like the it's sort of like open scoring, and all of the negatives that surround that. If a fighter or a trainer are watching that, they're way ahead on the scorecards, do they just dance and make it a boring fight to get the win, or the other side of the coin? If a fighter's way down on the scorecard, does a trainer say, forget it? Why waste our time? You're not going to knock the guy out. You got to cut. You got this. You got that. Let's utter those famous words you can't see, and that's the end of that. So yeah, it's a good point, and I think you're right. It's a glorified rematch clause. The only difference is it's already scheduled. It's there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And like they're saying in the chat room, well, should Froch win or should Bute knock out Froch? Does that mean there's even another fight? I happen to think it's a little deeper with this particular one. I think that Froch, let's face it, man, he's no spring chicken, and he's made enough money. He's traveled, so they've made it financially attractive for him. And speaking of attractive, he's got Rachel. So maybe he is. Maybe the money is lucrative enough for him to figure, 2 more fights. And walk away, with his.
Well, I think it's great for Froch, Bill. I think this is a tremendous deal for Carl Froch. I mean, he's coming off a loss in the Super 6, and he gets the guy that, if it's not Andre Ward, then Lucian Bute is the man. They're like co-men in the 168-pound division. It's kind of like Floyd and Manny in the pound-for-pound rankings. So you got Ward and Bute at super middleweight. And people are, continuing to debate who's number one, who's the best fighter. It should be Ward fighting him, but hey, Froch kind of struck gold in the fact that Ward isn't really interested, so Froch gets to step up and get the man. I mean, it's almost like the Super 6 is continuing for Froch.
Well,
in the sense that he gets to redeem himself from a previous loss, which is one of the concepts I really liked about the Super 6 and how all the bouts are scheduled. You lose, it doesn't mean that you're done. You're guaranteed another fight against another elite super middleweight, and you have the opportunity to redeem yourself and come right back. And he's getting that opportunity. And I think this is absolutely a gold mine for Froch. I think this is a great, great opportunity.
Yeah, well, the thing about what made the Super 6 so good is you had Showtime basically writing the checks. And I mean, here's the situation. Everybody loves Andre Ward. I mean, I can't deny his skill level and his talent, and he's arguably the best super middleweight in the world. We can't, as much as I think Bute could beat him, I can't put Bute above Andre Ward because of all the accomplishments that Andre Ward has. So currently I have it, Andre Ward is number one and Bute number two. But here's where Andre Ward is going to possibly regret his choice of promoter, Scott. And I think one of the reasons why you see or you're not seeing an immediate Bute and Andre Ward fight is because look who the promoter for Andre Ward is.
Absolutely.
It's Goosen.
100%.
Dan Goosen, he doesn't do this. He doesn't take the big money fights. So now let me ask you the other question. Here's the multi-million-dollar question, literally. Who else is there for Andre Ward to fight? All of a sudden, Andre Ward is being regarded as the best super middleweight out there. He won the tournament. He's got the majority of the belts, blah, 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 blah. Who's he going to fight? The guys with the money, Bute's promotional team, they have money. They're willing to spend money on Bute if you go to his town or whatever, right? So all of a sudden, Andre Ward, he seems to be the guy left out. The only way that he's going to be able to make money the way Dan Goosen's model works to fight somebody under, a bigger banner like Bob Arum or Golden Boy or Don King is to move up. He's going to move up. for him to fight somebody in the super middleweight division, that means Dan Goossen has to open up the pocketbook, and I don't see it happening.
Well, and to fight Bute, you're going to have to travel, and he doesn't travel, and Dan Goossen doesn't want to travel. I mean, he's going to basically make some generic title defenses. I mean, Anthony Durrell looks like the front runner for the first for his next title defense at super middleweight. It's going to be in his hometown. He just doesn't travel. And if there's a criticism I have, and I don't have many, of Andre Ward. He's a fantastic fighter. I think he's a great human being. I love the guy. I love what he stands for. I love his demeanor, his attitude, everything about him. But here's the thing: he just doesn't travel. And I think Carl Froch, what I respect so much about Carl Froch is this guy's willing to go anywhere. And now that he's set to fight Bute, you tell me another fighter in the sport of boxing that has had the resume of Carl Froch these last couple of years. There's no one.
No. And let me ask you this: if Anthony Durrell is the next guy in line for Andre Ward, I guess he's not as close with Anthony Durrell as he is with Andre Durrell, right? I mean, all the rumors about those two guys not wanting to fight each other, but hey, your brother's a different story. Bring him in, I'll kick his ass, Hey, Friday Night Fights kicked off, and it's too bad that you live in that little teeny state of Maryland, because I'd love to have you come up and do one of these Friday nights with us up at the Halftime Bar and Grill. We were there last week for kind of a snooze fest. For ESPN Friday Night Fights, but I don't think we're going to see that this weekend with Tion Kennedy taking on Christopher Martin. What do you think in that one, man?
On paper, I think it's another good matchup. I thought the matchups last weekend on paper for both the Friday Night Fights card and the Showbox card were good matchups on paper. They just didn't turn out that well. I mean, I didn't think Dia Davis and Alfonso Lopez was going to be as horrible a fight as it turned out to be, and I didn't think the Luis Ramos fight was going to be as bad as it turned out to be. But you never know until they get in the ring. But I agree that Tion Kennedy, Christopher Martin on paper looks like it should be a pretty decent scrap. But Kennedy, to his, unfortunately, it doesn't work out for him. He gets into brawls too much. And I think that if that happens, I mean, I like Martin in this fight, but Kennedy does excite the crowd, but I don't think it does him a service to fight the way that he tends to fight.
Yeah, no, it's funny, and I hate to say it, but I'm going to mention his name because he's so adamant about bringing quality fighters to the NABF. But my friend Joe Dwyer, who's the president of the NABF, he, that fight, the Dia Davis fight, was for the NABF title, and I got to be honest with you, I spoke to him on the phone, and he was a little disappointed in the performance, especially since they were fighting for his title, so to speak, and he wants good quality fights, man, and going into that fight, I really thought it would be a competitive fight, especially Dia Davis, who's been coming on. He just, I watched that fight, and like I said, we were doing this thing at the halftime, and I wasn't paying attention as much as I could, and I said that to Joe. I said, I wasn't paying enough attention. I thought it was a little closer than it was, and he said to me, no way. He says it was a complete shutout. The scores were 100% correct, and he said it was a one-sided fight, but it was a boring fight. And I guess he's 100% right, because that's what I saw, too, really, when I rewatched it.
Well, I didn't look like the same Alfonso Lopez who gave Kelly Pavlik a pretty good fight. I mean, it's not like he won it, but I thought he gave a decent performance against Pavlik. Now, maybe that just shows how far Pavlik has really fallen.
Well, what do you think about that? What do you think about that rumor that Kelly Pavlik and what's his name, Jermaine Taylor, it could possibly fight? I mean, talk about, we use that term crossroads fight all the time, but talk about a crossroads fight. First of all, I don't know anybody that'd be even interested in paying Kelly Pavlik to fight for a network. I would think that this would be televised, but I could see why they would want this fight. I mean, who else is there? I mean, to be honest with you, Jermaine Taylor, that one punch that Nicolau landed seemed to stop him in his tracks. Now, I don't know if he got hurt. I don't know if it's the scrambled eggs up there under his skull or what, but I don't know if he can handle a guy his size, really.
Well, but Pavlik is nowhere near the fighter that he was last time that he and Taylor
Well,
fought.
give him a
too,
couple
so.
of buds. Have him have a couple of, if he drinks a couple of buds before, maybe, because he gets in a fighting mood after he's drunk, I think.
Well, I think a lot of people do, Bill. I know you do.
No,
So,
I don't. I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter. Come on.
No, I don't. Gosh, I don't see the purpose of it.
Don't worry. I'll bring you. What are you, a 6X? What are you, a 6XL? I'll bring you an extra shirt. Don't worry, man. Come on, man.
If it fits you, it'll fit.
Yeah, right. So, hey, were you as happy as me? And nothing against anybody, but I just never liked the Pittsburgh Steelers. Were you as happy as me to see?
What do you think? They're the Ravens' chief rival. Going into that game, I was I kind of was on the fence because I figured Pittsburgh has the best opportunity of any of the other teams to go to New England and stop the Patriots, and if they do, then the Ravens become the number 1 seed, and we get another home playoff game. We got to take care of business against the Texans, but if we do, and the Steelers went to New England and beat them, then we would face the Steelers at home for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And I kind of, in the back of my mind, was rooting for the Steelers for that reason alone. But once the game started, I can't root for the Steelers. I don't care. I don't care if it's good for the Ravens. I cannot root for the Steelers. I was rooting. I was Tebowing the whole game, and when he threw that touchdown pass, I jumped up and screamed and cheered as much as anyone.
Like I did at the Froch-Taylor fight.
Absolutely, I was like Mama Tebow. I was like just jumping up and down and hugging my kids, and we were all happy to see Ben Roethlisberger walk off the field with his head down, and Heinz Ward start crying at the post-fight press conference.
Well, that's what I'm praying for with the Giants. That's how much I hate the Giants. But you got to feel for Tebow and John Elway, just not supporting them really and hating them, and he's not going to make it. And this guy just keeps pulling out these wins. I tell you right now, if he beats New England in New England, you better watch out for Tim Tebow because New England is the team. I'm pulling for the Ravens. I mean, they're my favorite team left in there right now. I'll be a big Packers fan this weekend, but I could care less for either one of those teams. I just don't want the Giants. Listening to the Giant fans, I was in New York City yesterday, and listening to the Giants, the Giant fans, it's why I can't stand the Giants, really. The Giants and the Yankees and the Rangers and the Knicks, they're all the same fan. And they talk, I mean, these guys are on the radios, calling in the radio station on the fan, and they're saying stuff like, oh, we're definitely going to win. I'm making my Super Bowl prediction now. This is the 2007 repeat. We want New England again, blah, blah, blah. Oh, my God. It's like I just want to crash into a tree when I'm hearing that.
No, I hear you, Bill. I'm rooting for Saints and Packers because I'd love to see that championship game. I think that would be a shootout and a very entertaining football game. So, and I kind of like the Saints, and I'm a Drew Brees fan, so I'm rooting for the Saints, and I kind of like the Packers too. So I think that's the game I want to see in the NFC, and obviously AFC. I'm Ravens all the way. It would be nice if the Broncos could beat the Patriots because that would mean the Ravens would host the Broncos in the championship game, and it'd be nice to get another home game. And it'd certainly bring a lot of excitement to it, even more so than normal if Tim Tebow has won again in New England and is coming to Baltimore with a chance to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, the hype around that game would just be out of this world. I think that would be great, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think New England takes care of business, and I think we take care of business against Houston and travel to New England for the championship game.
Murphy's in the chat room saying that Tim Tebow and God isn't going to help him against New England. All I want to know is what the hell is the discount double check, man? I mean, was it? I love that commercial. Oh, you're a dancer? No, I'm a quarterback.
But, according to my 12-year-old, who is a WWE fanatic, Aaron Rodgers, when they won the Super Bowl, he's a big Aaron Rodgers is a WWE fan. He held up the WWE title belt. You see him in the post-fight, after the game when the confetti's falling and all that. He has the WWE Championship belt, and he does that thing with the belt as his move, that's the WWE Championship. That's just his little signature thing. So my 12-year-old kind of had to inform me what those commercials meant and why he was doing that, and that's why he's a big Aaron Rodgers fan, because Aaron Rodgers is a WWE fan. So there you go.
But he does that when he scores a touchdown.
Right.
Right, that's his touchdown dance.
Right, but he does the thing to imitate a belt. And
right.
The belt that he's imitating is the WWE.
Oh, I got you.
Belt, wrestling belt. Yeah, that's
sure.
why he actually held up the belt. And after the actual WWE heavyweight or whatever, there's several belts. I don't know. My son knows them all.
The thing
anyway,
is,
after that Super Bowl victory, he held it up, and
Well, the thing is if it was boxing, see, he had to go to the WWE, because if it was boxing, he'd have so many belts on, he'd look like the Michelin Man.
He wouldn't be able to move.
Yeah, he'd look like the Michelin Man. He'd look like that kid in that Christmas movie when the mother.
The Christmas story.
Yeah, the Christmas.
I can't put my arm.
Yeah, but anyway, Scotty, man, I appreciate you sticking around for some extra time, and we'll be looking forward to it. Hey, check your spam. Let me know if you get it. If not, I'll send you the ballot, because we need your votes, bro. All right, well, I guess we just lost Scotty right in time. So, hey, speaking of time, I got to take a break, and when I come back, I got a bunch of boxing news we got to get in before the end of the show. We'll be right back.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. Every week, 2 hours of the best boxing talk on the radio.
I have a bunch of questions, Donnell, right? If you feel like you want to, you can answer for JD first. Why will you win? JD Chapman, why will you win?
Baby Holmes will get sick and get hit by a train that day on the way to the fight, or he might have diarrhea, he might have the flu, he might throw up. One of his eyeballs might fall out that day, and I might get lucky.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. Talking Boxing with Billy C. Every week, 2 hours of the best boxing talk on the radio.
Mike Tyson looked like he put on some pounds. He was fat. He went into McDonald's and he just said to them, hey, give me 6 of everything on the menu. He put on 2 watches and covered 2 time zones. I'm talking fat here. Got on a scale the other day and it said, come on, one of you guys got to get off. Last thing I heard is that he jumped into the ocean and he left a ring around the continent. He's fat.
Boxing with Billy C.
Now back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. He may not have an Excellence in Broadcasting award, but the night's still young. And he's got martinis. So you never know what may be by morning. It's Talking Boxing with Billy C. Talking Boxing with Billy C.
The one, the only, Don King.
Makes me feel good, Billy, to have you, the #1 show in the country, Talking Boxing with Billy. So I invite each and every American that's listening to this great show to tune in, because we want you to be there with Billy and me.
Sweet Susie Q, she was a rebel, no angel wings, more like the devil. She was so hot, so cool and nasty, believe it or not, here's what you asked me. If you need love with no condition, let's do the do.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C Radio. So you're watching us on the Fight Now channel. Well, you don't have it. You don't have the Fight Now channel. Well, what the hell are you waiting for, man? Call your local television provider right now and tell them that you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports package, man. Come on, it's that easy. Oh, what? You don't know the phone number to your cable company, your dish company, your television provider? Well, we made it easy for you. All you got to do is go up to the Fight Now website, www.fightnow.com. Click the graphic of the United States and pick out the state in which you live in. You know that, I hope. And then Fight Now made it easy. It's going to show all of the television providers for your state. Call the one you pay your bill to and tell them that you want the Fight Now channel added to your lineup. Don't forget, every night is Fight Now on Fight Now, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Check out the website for all the latest listings, www.fightnow.com. You know, Richie Cunningham. No. I mean, Steve USS Cunningham. Same thing, right? They're going to be fighting on February 4th. Hernandez, who I think, I think it's a joke. Steve USS Cunningham, people still regard him as the best cruiserweight in the world. I think he's just a has-been. I think he's just another one of those Philly products that just won't shut his mouth. Yeah, I see a lot of similarities between him and Bernard Hopkins, with the exception of the jail time. But Joan Pablo Hernandez, 25 wins, 1 loss, 13 wins, come by knockout. is going to, I think, beat Steve USS Cunningham again in the rematch on February 4th. So we'll have to wait for that one. The WBC, who I think has dropped deeper or fallen deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the abyss of garbage when it comes to sanctioning bodies. Apparently, they made another one of their orders. They're constantly liking to control what they think is the whole sport, but they don't leave their little world of the WBC. But at least they have something that I'm going to give them credit for. At least they have something I'm going to give them credit for. They have a number one guy facing a number two guy, and the winner gets to fight the champion. I think that's the way it is. So many times that you see an elimination bout, you got the number 4 guy fighting the number 8 guy. That's for the number 1 spot. What? Where does that come from? No. In the minimum weight or strawweight division, number 1 ranked by the WBC, Canagin Lopez, who's 20 wins, 4 losses, 14 come by knockout, and the number 2 guy, Denver Coelho, who's 29, 4, and 6 with 19 knockouts. Talk about draws, man. 6 draws. These 2 guys are going to be fighting, and the winner will be fighting for the minimum weight world title. Now, there's a purse bid set for February 3rd in Mexico City, but if the parties can agree to a fight prior to that with purses or anything else, it won't go to bid. But if not, it will go to bid on February 3rd. So we'll be looking forward to hearing the latest on that news when it comes to us. I was talking about the fights that we have on the Billy C Challenge for this weekend, and Arthur Abraham is one. The 4,000 seat arena in which they're sitting in, over 4,000 tickets have been sold. It's sold out. As a matter of fact, how popular is Arthur Abraham in Germany? Well, they had an open workout on Sunday. Over 1,000 people attended just for the open workout. So if you don't think that people still care about Arthur Abraham in Germany, then you're crazy. You're crazy. And I mentioned Stiglitz is going to be on that card as well. 40 wins, 2 losses, 23 come by knockout. He's taking on the undefeated Henry Weber, 15-0 with a draw, 3 knockouts. I keep saying that's not going to be a bad fight, but Stiglitz sometimes fights to his level of opposition, so it'll be competitive anyway. And also on that card, we got a female world title for the WBF world title. And I'm not sold on the WBF yet, but at least we got a title. Ramona Kuhn is going to be taking on Renita Damsodi. That's going to be on the undercard of the Arthur Abraham fight in Germany this weekend. It's not on our picks because, quite frankly, I don't think it's a competitive fight. So. Kuhn and how do you say it? Damsodi. Damsodi is going to be the fight. And then there's actually another WBF female world title on the way in Guadalajara. The current WBF world flyweight champion, women's flyweight champion, is Irma Sanchez. She's going to be making a second defense of her title against Farah Pran Lukinkong. And that's going to be taking place the same night, obviously in a different place. Speaking about different places, different nights, different days, different sports, it's not a different sport, but it's a different level of the sport. We're talking about the World Series of Boxing, which is a amateur. It's amateur fights, even though they get paid. So, here in the States, we don't know really how that works, but the bottom line is normally in the States, when you get paid, you become a professional. Everybody else is an amateur, but not with the World Series of Boxing, because these fighters make anywhere from $25,000 to $300,000 a year, depending upon their contract. And they fight in these tournaments, and it's team against team. Well, if you've been wondering what the level of these fighters are and all that happy jazz, and you want to, get to know some of these fighters, because you're going to definitely be seeing them in the pro ranks at some point. Very well, maybe seeing them in the Olympics at some point as well. Mexico City against Beijing, which is taking place February 3rd in Mexico City, and you can watch it on pay-per-view. You could check this one out. Integrated Sports Management. Integrated Sports. Is it Integrated Sports Management? IntegratedSportsNet.com. Sorry about that. They are going to be broadcasting it on pay-per-view on all of the television providers that you can think of. Anyway, I know that they're going to be on some dish networks and most of the cable networks. So, and also on Ustream if you want to watch it on the internet. So. Check out our the easiest thing is go to our website www.billycboxing.com. You'll see the fight poster up there. Click it and it will take you to additional information on that one. Richard Pearson, he's back February 17th. He's a middleweight prospect, and man, do we need some middleweights out there. Now he's a young prospect. He's only got 11 fights under his belt, 9 wins, 2 losses, 6 gone by knockout. He's going to be fighting on February 17th in New Jersey, and we'll keep an eye on him. I think that the middleweight division is important because we need to get the middleweight division back on track, man. Because the middleweight division was traditionally a hot division and a popular division, and well, it sucks right now, just like Comcast. Comcast sucks. But anyway, how about the fight that's taking place at the Queen Emerald Casino out there in Tacoma, Washington? I love the cruiserweight division, and I love watching evenly matched fights. And I'll tell you the truth, Joel Godfrey and Henry Namanou, both young fighters in the cruiserweight division, are going to be fighting each other. Godfrey's got a record of 13 wins, 5 losses, and a draw. And Namanou is 9 wins and 4 losses. They are going to be fighting at the Battle of the Boat, is what they call it. The Battle of the Boat, number 85. 85 fights going back with this promoter, Brian Halquist. So congratulations to him. And it ought to be a decent card, but I'll tell you, the best thing, have you ever seen Amy Hayes? Have you ever seen Amy Hayes do her schmeal? When she does the ring announcing? She's gorgeous. Gorgeous. She's going to be doing all the announcing duties. She's worth the price for the ticket. I just hope that Goosen used to be like her promoter, and I'm not sure if they still work together, but I remember when I was promoting fights. So Amy Hayes must be getting up there in age. Maybe she's not as hot as she used to be, but the last time I looked into it was about 10 years ago. And you know what he wanted? I'm going to tell you right now, Dan Goosen had the nerve to tell me that it would cost $8,000 to have Amy Hayes do our ring announcing, plus all first-class accommodations. She wanted first-class round-trip plane tickets. She wanted first-class hotel. She wanted everything top-notch. $8,000. A ring announcer, a good one, can range anywhere from $500 to $1,500. Unless, of course, you're Jimmy Lennon Jr. or Michael Buffer. But Amy Hayes is no Michael Buffer or Jimmy Lennon Jr. I don't care how hot she is. Unless the $8,000 is including like 2 weeks with her chained up in your bedroom. I don't know. But Chris Algieri is going to be coming back. Now, you may not know who he is, but he's pretty big in the Long Island area. He's out of Huntington, New York, and he's going to be fighting January 28th at the Paramount Theater in Huntington, New York. So I'll be looking for that. And it's another one of these Joe DeGuardia Star Boxing fights, Rockin' Fights. It's called. And I had a chance to talk with Joe recently, and he's trying to do some stuff. The only thing that I think in terms of guys like Star Boxing, I mentioned Dan Goosen, Jimmy Birchfield, promoters in that level, like these guys. Where they're missing the boat, in my opinion, is they're not promoting. They're not promoting. And what I mean by that is you got to get, and I don't mean just with us. Of course, my underlying, listen, I'm going to call it spade a spade. I make my living in the sport of boxing. So, if somebody's going to work with us, I mean, of course, they're my man. If they're writing me a check, they're my man. But the bottom line, and I'm no different, I'm being honest. What do you want me to do? Lie? I don't lie. So, and the bottom line is this, putting what I just said aside, a promoter needs to promote their fighters. Chris Algieri, let's use him for an example. I know Coach is from New York. He knows who Chris Algieri is. I know most people that are in the New York boxing scene, they know who Chris Algieri is. They've seen him. They've heard of him. He's an up-and-coming fighter. What about you, man? Where are you listening from? If you're listening out west or down south, you ever hear of Chris Algieri? Maybe you have because you're a diehard fan, but most people never heard of him. That's what I'm talking about. So when Star Boxing goes to market him or goes to try to get him on somebody else's card, on a top-ranked card, so he can make some money, well, what's Top Rank going to say? They're going to say, hey, listen, Chris Algieri, nobody knows who he is, man. How am I going to sell this guy? So promoters like Star and Birchfield and some of these other promoters that are at that level, like I mentioned, Dan Goosen is one of them. Brian Halquist is another one. These guys, they need to get their fighters out there. They need to do that. We need to talk to a guy like Chris Algieri. We need to have him on this show, let's say. And it's not like we need guests. I mean, we're booked way ahead for guests. But the point is that you got to get them out there. A press release, a Facebook post is not promoting anymore. I'm sorry. It's called investment. You need to invest in your young fighters. Look what happened with. Let's take a step. Forget Chris Algieri. Let's take a step a little further. How about Paulie Warlock and Delvin Rodriguez? How come it took them to try to kill each other on ESPN before anybody knew who the hell they were? Delvin Rodriguez has been fighting in the New York, Connecticut scene for years. As a matter of fact, he fought in the early 2000s in Poughkeepsie a couple of times. I mean, and nobody heard of him until they almost killed each other. That's my point. That's my point, man. You gotta spend some money. You'll get the money back, man. You'll get the money back. We need to get young fighters. Mikey Farragon is another one that's from actually around here. Who's heard of him? With his performance on TV, that was it. People are talking about Mikey Farragon like he's been around for a couple of years. We need to know about these young fighters, and for whatever it's going to take from these promoters to get their name out there, to get the interviews, to get the stories, to get the coverage. It's called promotion. Promoters got to promote. Promoters don't want to promote anymore. They just want to collect. They're collectors. They're not promoters. They're collectors. They just want to collect. They want to collect money. So do I. All right, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather had this tweet yesterday. He's a tweetheart. And, he writes, first he puts out, Manny Pacquiao, I'm calling you out. Let's get this fight. Let's get the fight May 5th and give the world what they want to see. And then a couple minutes later, he put out, my jail sentence was pushed back because the date was locked up. Step it up, punk. He wants to, he's really calling him out. Now, I believe it, man. I believe it. I believe that Manny Pacquiao needs to fight Floyd Mayweather. I believe he does. I believe he does. I think at this point, I'm wearing a Floyd hat. Yep, I am. Hey Floyd, come on the show, man. I'll even let Floyd come on the show. I'm not even a guy. I had, what's his name? Who's that rapper? I had him on talking about Floyd. I don't even befriend Floyd as in Facebook or not that I do Facebook. Somebody else does it for us, but we don't have him as a friend. I don't think. Maybe he is. I don't know. But I don't like him as the guy. As a fighter, I like him. But you know what? I'm in his side right now. I think that Floyd Mayweather. I believe him. I believe him. If I'm falling prey, yeah, I know the coach has said I'm a jerk, and these guys think it's all. Why do we need to believe him now and everything else? Yeah, I listen. I think he's a chronic liar. I think he's just a BS artist, the whole nine. But I do believe that he's willing to fight on May 5th, and I do think that the stipulation. And I'll tell you why I think. I think behind closed doors, I think his lawyers told Judge Saragusa that was the fight, and in lieu of the money that was going to be infused into the Las Vegas, the city of Las Vegas, I think they closed their eyes, which I think is wrong in terms of our judicial system. But I think it's almost against the wall. I think Mayweather has to make this fight. Now it's up to Bob Arum and Manny Pacquiao. Specifically, it's up to Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao has to make this fight. has to make this fight, man. There's no question about it. No question about it. Manny Pacquiao has to he's got to force that old decrepit thing called Top Rank. No, called Bob Arum into making this fight. Bob Arum has to shut the F up and make the fight. End of story. We don't need tweets. We don't need tweets to tell us. We just know. How about the statement on the mystery man, Mustafa Amin? The IBF put a statement out and said, this guy, he worked for us. We don't pay him. Basically, they threw him out on a thing. He's for an organization to help retired fighters and all of this stuff. They didn't want to talk about it until after the hearing. They're having the hearing about the Crybaby Khan and the Peterson fight. Still, the Khan is still crying over it. And they take this Mustafa Amin. They say, we brought him in there. We actually turned him on to the Washington, D.C. Boxing Commission, so they're responsible. They issued him the credential. They're the ones that gave him the pass to walk around behind, around the ring area and all of that stuff. So basically, my message to anybody that's getting ready to work with the IBF, be careful, man. It sounds to me like they just threw Mustafa Amin under the bus, man. At least that's my opinion. But, how about the opinion of most that the winner of the Floyd Mayweather sweepstakes is going to be Robert the Ghost Guerrero? Robert the Ghost Guerrero. Not only now we didn't pick it up here on the East Coast, at least in New York, but the Los Angeles Times and the LA Daily News both had stories out the other day about this particular fight. Robert the Ghost Guerrero being quoted as, "I'm going to shock the world. I'm going to beat Mayweather." Robert Morales wrote a piece in the LA Daily News that that he really feels that this is going to be the biggest fight for Manny is against Robert the Ghost Guerrero, and that Robert the Ghost Guerrero has a really good chance of winning. He says he's undefeated as a champion, 6-0 with 4 knockouts. Come on, man. I don't care if the Los Angeles Times and the LA Daily News, I don't care if the New York Times, I don't care if every newspaper in the United States says that Robert the Ghost Guerrero is going to get the fight. He very well may get the fight, but you know what? The reason why Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather have to fight each other is because, well, they're the best two opponents for each other. Here's what's going to happen. If Robert the Ghost Guerrero fights Floyd Mayweather, you're going to have people like me saying, well, Robert the Ghost Guerrero is moving up 2 weight classes. I know, we heard him. You can go back and listen to the interview. He was on the show a couple of weeks ago. The interview's up there. You can go check it out. Hot interview section under BillyCBoxing.com. He gave us all the reasons why. He impressed me. He convinced me that he's got a chance. He also impressed me by telling me that he walks around at the weight at which that he would need to fight, even bigger. Which gives me more. I feel even better about him. When I consider how disciplined he is to lose all that weight before a fight, to fight at the lower weight classes that he's been in. But either way, people are going to comment that Floyd is fighting Robert the Ghost Guerrero that's 2 weight classes below him. Now you look at Saul Alvarez, and they're claiming that he's fighting at least 1 weight class above. If you put Floyd in a welterweight division, which he is, I guess, has a belt in, Saul Alvarez fights at the junior middleweight. Saul Alvarez is going to be a bigger fighter. If I was going to choose to, if Manny Pacquiao is not going to fight Floyd Mayweather, the next viable opponent for Floyd Mayweather is Sergio Martinez. I don't know why he's not in the mix, except for maybe Floyd is just, doesn't feel he can beat Sergio, which I don't know. I think he can. But the issue here is Golden Boy. Golden Boy promotes Robert the Ghost Guerrero. Golden Boy promotes Saul Alvarez. And Golden Boy, not on paper, but pretty much promotes Floyd Mayweather. Therefore, you're going to probably see the fight against one of those 2 guys. And because they have Cinco de Mayo, I would lean more towards Saul Alvarez. Plus, Saul Alvarez could lose a fight and not really get affected by it. As a matter of fact, I don't even think he loses his title if he goes down in weight, because that's what's going to happen. Floyd's certainly not going to go up to 154. They're going to try to make Saul Alvarez lose the weight. So, who knows, man? All I know is that the bottom line is that we need to see I think we need to see Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather right now. May. End of story. If they don't do it in May, forget about it. Forget about it. Don't even do it. Don't even do it. How about the news that main events, Kathy Duva, my girl Kathy, you know, I never met her in person, but I would like to. I think she's a breath of fresh air in boxing. She's slowly doing it the right way. And you know what? Hey, Kathy, if you're listening, give me a call. We should go out to lunch sometime, and I'd love to pick her brain because she's been doing it the right way, and she just beat Don King out for a purse bid, an elimination bout between Zab Judah and Vernon Paris. But here's the interest. First of all, I actually like that fight. You know, Vernon Paris is a guy that really impressed me in his last outing. And Zab Judah, well, you know, I would love nothing more to see Vernon Paris beat his ass. But here's the thing. $70,110 won the purse bid. Won the purse bid. Don King was the only other person that bid on it. You know what he bid? 51 grand. Keep in mind how these purse bids work. That's the purse split between two fighters. So, you know, everybody just thinks that professional fighters are making $1 million every time they go out there. Think again. You know, but anyway, Atlantic City, we're going to have Chaz Witherspoon on the show very soon. I've been talking to his people the last couple of days, and Chaz is scheduled to be on. I don't know if it's next week or the week after. I don't have my schedule in front of me, but it's going to be on one of those weeks. And he's the co-main event. He's taking on the Sandman, Evans Quinn, on February 4th in Atlantic City. And the main event is Doran Spivey against Victor Vasquez. Victor Vasquez has 14 wins, 5 losses, and a draw. And Doran Spivey is 40 wins, 6 losses, and 29 of those W's come by knockout. That's going to be taking place February 4th in Atlantic City. John Molina had his opponent changed. He's fighting on February 17th, and now he's going to be taking on Marvin Quintero, who used to be, I believe he's a former world champion, Marvin Quintero, but he was very close. If not, he was very close. I know he must have fought for one or something. But I remember seeing him live a couple of times. He used to be a pretty good fighter, so that's taking place on the 17th. One last thing I wanted to talk about is, Ricky Hatton is now the main guy over at Hatton Promotions. Garth Williams was the CEO, and he's been replaced. Although he's still going to be around, Ricky Hatton now is the big cheese, so to speak. They say that he's beaten his depression, and he's okay to run the organization now. Listen, I'm no doctor, and I don't even play one on the radio, but I don't know if people beat depression. You know, I really don't. First of all, you know, depression, everybody gets depressed over something, right? That's not the depression we're talking about. If he was battling depression, somebody that's always depressed about different things, and it doesn't mean they don't come across being happy, right? Depression is a serious issue. I don't think it's beaten. I don't think people all of a sudden wake up and say, whoa, holy crap, I'm not depressed no more. I'd just be a happy person now. You know, it doesn't happen. So, I don't know, man. I hope they're making the right decision. I don't know what he had to be depressed about, maybe because he got, busted with the coke whore he was with. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I shouldn't even say that she was a fighter. But nonetheless, Ricky Hatton, I wish him all the best. I love Ricky Hatton because there's only one Ricky Hatton. You know, I mean, that's the truth, right? There's only one Ricky Hatton.
Wake up. It's time for It's Too Early for a Trivia Question.
All right. So today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question is the same as yesterday's. When was the first bout in which the details of the official scoring were announced by the ring announcer? If you know that answer, email me, billy@talkinboxing.com. Don't forget, today's trivia question is brought to you by Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you need an attorney, give them a call, 845-221-4099. Make sure you tell them Billy C sent you.
This day in boxing history.
And finally, on this day, January 11th in 1997, Khalid Ralalu knocks out Frankie Randall in the 11th round to win the WBA World junior welterweight title, and that fight took place on this day, January 11th, 1997, in Nashville, Tennessee. Hey, man, that concludes our show for today. Make sure you stick around. We're going to be talking about some more about the Mayweather stuff on tomorrow's show. Make sure if you're around the Glens Falls area, you stop up by the Halftime Bar and Grill Friday night. We're going to be there for Friday night fights, but the most important thing to remember, you know what it is. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning, same bad time, same bad channel. The Fight Now channel. Call your local television provider right now. Tell them that you want the Fight Now channel added to your lineup. Check out their website for all the information, www.fightnow.com. See you all tomorrow. Ciao, baby.